Hi, I'm John Maxwell. When the top companies in the world are looking for trainers, speakers, and coaches, there's one name that stands above the rest, and that's Maxwell Leadership. Our certified team members have gotten proven results for companies all over the globe, and our reputation, I'm proud to say, is second to none. Some of our members have risen to the top of their profession, including the one you're going to meet today. I proudly introduce you to my friend Bob Fabian Zinka.
Welcome to the Leadership and Success Podcast with your host, Coach BZ, where we help you lead with purpose and succeed with impact. If you're ready to grow into the kind of leader others want to follow, this podcast is for you. If you're determined to elevate your success and leave a lasting legacy, this podcast is for you. As my mentor, Dr. John C. Maxwell reminds us, everything rises and falls on leadership. Our goal is simple: to inspire you, challenge you, and equip you with insights that can transform the trajectory of your leadership journey. Welcome aboard to another episode of the Leadership and Success Podcast with Coach BZ.
All right, welcome to another episode of the Leadership and Success Podcast. This is Coach BZ for our second show today. And we have a very, very special guest, someone I know very well, an IP officer just like myself. But before I get to him, we have what we call a moment of gratitude, right? We like to start the show every single time with a moment of gratitude. We want to be grateful every single time we meet. And part of the reason why we do this is because in the military, veteran and service member, active duty, National Guard, and the reserve, substantial number of veterans, about 21, 22 service member every single day commit suicide. And here we believe it's not possible to be suicidal and be grateful at the very same time. So from the episode earlier this morning, I was grateful for freedom, right? There is nothing like being free. And part of the reason why I love America so much, right? It is the home of the brave and the land of the free. And let us know in the comment, let us know where are you guys joining us from, what city, what state. And earlier today, we had people from England, from Nigeria, from across America. So let us know which country, if outside of the US. But also let us know what you are grateful for. And if you have a question for the commander, type it in the comments and we're going to be answering your questions live. So let me see if I can properly introduce our guest today. Today, I'm really honored and privileged to be speaking to Commander Select Anthony R. Murphy, U.S. Navy. He is my friend, my mentee, and one of those quiet leaders whose journey deserves to be told. Today, I am really proud of him because Anthony's Navy journey began in 1999. He was a Seaman Recruit E1, lowest rank in the Navy, and he started in Deck Department, Struck Information System Technician, just like I did. He served approximately 9 years enlisted and later earned his commission through the Direct Commission Officer Program. And today, 27 years after entering the Navy, he has been selected for Commander 05. He is now a senior officer in the most powerful Navy in the world, joining the Senior Officer Club, so the top 4% in the United States Navy. Wow. From E1 to 05 Select. So like me, Anthony is a prior enlisted sailor who became a Navy Information Professional Officer and Qualified Information Warfare Officer. His journey has included operational and joint assignment, deployment supporting mission, including Afghanistan, Djibouti, major exercises, NATO, and joint experiences, and service across the Navy's information warfare enterprise. His civilian career has included work supporting the U.S. Army, Microsoft, the U.S. Navy civilian workforce, while his commitment to service extends far beyond the uniform. Anthony serves through ministry, coaches football, and is working to launch a home care business designed to serve senior veterans and citizens with special needs. We're going to be saying a little bit more about that toward the end of the podcast, so stay tuned. But titles and accomplishments tell only part of Anthony's story. He is also a husband, a father, a mentor, a coach, man of faith, and servant leader who believes in a simple but powerful philosophy: unwrap the present. Now, you live your life and your vision with enthusiasm, fueled by hope and purpose. That is so powerful, simple but powerful. Really, that philosophy will be at the heart of our conversation today. Part of what you're going to be learning is what a 27-year journey from Seaman Recruit to Commander teaches us about perseverance and leadership. Why Anthony's prior enlistment experience continues to shape the officer and leader he is today. And we are also going to be learning perhaps most importantly, what today's young sailor can learn from someone who once wore E1 and is now preparing to wear the rank of commander. So without any further ado, please help me welcome to the Leadership and Success Podcast, the one and only, my mentee, Commander Select, Anthony Murphy. All right, Anthony, welcome to the Leadership and Success Podcast. How are you doing today, sir?
I'm doing excellent. Thank you, Bob. I really appreciate that intro. Oh man, you really know how to lay it on thick.
I could not be prouder of you, sir. It's just incredible going from E1 to O5. Wow. So, what are you grateful for today?
Man, the first thing I'm grateful for is just life, health, and strength. I mean, it sounds cliche, it sounds normal, but until those things are at risk or until you're threatened by those things, you really don't understand just the magnitude that come to have the cognition of your right mind, the strength, the ability to get up every day on your own will. Prior to this podcast, man, I just left the hospital, with my son, and those moments like that, just reminding him and just kind of reinforcing to have life, health, and strength, man. Everything else from there is downhill, And so I'm truly grateful for that.
Wow, that is so powerful. Thank you so much for sharing that. And another question I'd like to ask just to get started is, what is something about you that most people may not know? Maybe a superpower or unique skill, something.
Yeah, I think, I'm often told I'm laid back or pretty chill and all that. But I think one thing people don't recognize is I'm an adventure nut. I mean, like, if it's right on the edge of stupid or fun, I'm like right there, man. I'm talking jumping out of planes, swimming with sharks. I'm talking about it. Oh, I've done it. I love it. It's just the exhilaration, man. I love that moment of just.
Well, Anthony, I think says that maybe I need to revoke your black card, man.
I know, man. I'm telling you, something's deep in the bloods, man. Because I'm like out of the box with that.
I must ask, when you went to Great Mistake, I mean, Great Lakes for your boot camp, did you pass the swimming test at first round?
Now, so here's where I'm gonna put the black card back in my pocket, right? So yeah, man. I thought I could swim coming in the boot camp. When they said you got to go 5 minutes and tread,
yes,
brother was doggy paddling. I mean, I had everything I could.
Look at you now. You can swim with a shark in the ocean. Can you believe that?
Yeah, man. I mean, yeah.
I had to go back to Great Lakes because they gave me 12 months. They said, okay, Seaman Zenga, if you don't pass the swim, we'll give you 12 months. After that, we're going to have to kick you out. So I was swimming almost every single day. And within like 6-7 months, I was able to go back. I passed it easy. But my goodness, it's not easy, especially jumping off it's almost 20 feet down. And then you have to swim the entire length of a pool. Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
But it's just proof. Again, that's part of the reason why some people think I only talk to flag officer. No. I want to talk to junior enlisted. I want to talk to junior officer, and I want to talk to people like you, like me. You went from E1 now to O5, so we can inspire, right, the next generation of sailor. Anything is possible, right, if you put your mind to it. So it's so. What would you say to a young sailor? No, because I mean it's just true. Most black just cannot swim. I don't know why that's the case. They say white men can jump, but I'm telling you, there are some exceptions. But it's like my daughters, for example, they wouldn't stay 2 feet close to any pool or water because they don't like their hair to get wet or whatever. But the thing is, no matter what it is, the stereotype, we kind of joking, but the truth is, if there is something you don't know how to do right now, if you put your mind to it, you can learn how to do it. You can really overcome a lot of obstacles that life puts before you over and over again. And I think in the long term, it kind of builds confidence that, yes, I can do it. Yes, I can learn it, right? What would you say to a young sailor, someone who wants to enlist or become an officer who may not be a great swimmer right now or has some doubt? Maybe it is school, maybe it's grades or whatever it might be. They are not very confident in themselves. What would you tell them to encourage them today?
Yeah, I mean, I would say we're constantly confronted with two realities of who we are.
Mhm.
We have who we presently are and who we believe we can be.
Yes.
And every day you're confronted with, am I going to rise to who I desire or believe I can be? Or
Mm.
will I succumb to the realities of what I'm facing today and define uh,
Mm.
my future self by this current
Wow.
state? And so when you confront the dichotomy of the two yous every
Mhm.
day, you retain the sovereignty to choose
Mm.
who
I
you
love that.
desire to be. Don't give that sovereignty up to circumstance, to
Yes.
situations, to people, to presence.
Don't be
Just
a victim.
identify. Yeah, exactly. Identify what pathways, what choices, what elections, what people, what mentors, what do I have to do to
Mhm.
manifest who I believe is truly me,
Wow.
and continue to define the true you every day.
That is really, really powerful and insightful. And if nobody gets anything out of our conversation, I think it has the potential to change somebody's life because most of us, we feel fear. Everybody is afraid, and that is perfectly normal. It is human. But the difference between those who succeed and those who don't is people who feel the fear, they still take action and they still do it anyway. They are still learning and they are still growing and they still attempt to do something, right? It's kind of like the man in the arena. What would you tell to someone who feels afraid? It's like, no, what if it doesn't work? No, what if I fail? What if people make fun of me? And they won't even have the courage to take action beyond their fear. What would you tell them?
Yeah, so there's two parts. The loose part of it is that's the excitement about being an adrenaline junkie, is
Mhm.
feeling the fear and yet proceeding forward anyway. Not
Mm.
with a lack of evaluation or risk, but
Mhm.
after I've done the risk assessment, after I've prayed, after I've examined the worst that could be of this thing, then I allow
Mhm.
myself to process the fear in its fullness. So a lot of times,
Yeah.
fear is really this thing crippling us from examining what is the components of this thing, what is driving it,
Mm.
why am I, and what is that. And the moment you can kind of take a step back and stop looking outside of yourself about the situation, but actually examining, hey, what are the driving components to this?
Mhm.
You'll actually find many cases it is lacking the actual substance that would typically cripple you. It's mostly
Yes.
imagination and
Mm.
thoughts of you magnifying the situation more than the actual circumstance or the consequence. So I
I
would
like
tell
that.
someone, hey, let's if on the other side of that fear is an absolute rewarding
Mm.
outcome, potentially life changing, pivotal, then
Yes.
let's assess the risk of failure to the reward of success
Wow, that's powerful.
and examine those two against each other to determine if it's worth it. It's
Mhm.
even worth it with the possibility of failure being high. It is still
Mm.
worth it.
That is really, really powerful. And you have an MBA, the same I do. We have so much in common. So anytime before you start in business, you want to do right a cost analysis, right? Is this even worth it? And it seems like for many people, we tend to be driven, I think, by our emotions, and we don't take the time to actually think and actually make a decision for ourselves. So I really appreciate everything you shared. So if someone met you for the very first time today and they ask, Anthony, who are you and what do you do? How would you answer without using your rank or your job title or all of the great achievements you've accomplished so far? Who are you at your core, Anthony?
Yeah. Who am I at my core is I am you. I mean, and you are me. I am breathing one day at a time. I am A positive in my blood type. I bleed, I cry, I hurt, I laugh. I am you. And that's been my approach even as an officer,
Mhm.
regardless of rank, was to show whoever I come in contact with, I
Yeah.
see you. I
Mm.
see you. I am you. And so outside of those externals, outside of these accomplishments, I am your neighbor, I am your brother, I am you, I am rooting for you, I am praying for you, and I want that reciprocated for us to see we are all surviving this thing called life. And these complexes of accomplishments sometimes skew the heart of our humanity. And so I don't want to do that. So first of all, I am you, and I want you to see that I am just anything and everything you externally hold to be of value. I am reachable, tangible. And I think that's kind of, not to get into politics, but I think that that's what makes some of our most pivotal leaders, most influential, is that there's some little boy or some little girl that can envision them being that.
Yes.
Right. And so like when Michael Jordan, they do the commercial, I want to be like Mike. Everybody did Michael Jackson dance moves. Everybody thought they were Bo Jackson. Everybody really recognized, Barack Obama as a president. The minorities that started to identify what's in the realm of possible. It all became because of the simplicity of I am you.
Wow. That's so powerful. Simple but powerful. All inclusive. And do you think being enlisted like I was maybe help you become a better officer or leader in some way, or at least help you see things from a different perspective than if you had just come out straight out of college or the Naval Academy?
Yeah, I'm so grateful for my journey, BZ, man. I tell you what, I mean, I know along this path there are things that could have been done different. And in retrospect, if you know what you know, then you probably would have done things different. But my journey, man, I am so grateful for, because nothing's wasted. Everything builds upon each other. And I do think the perspective of being enlisted, being in deck department, working long hours on the folks, on spray painting, needle gunning, chipping, cleaning CHT, those things, they shape character in you. They reinforce your commitment to your vision for yourself. And then they also help you see those people that are many times just disregarded or neglected as they carry a trash bag off the pier. You see them when you walk past them as an officer. You understand the I am you.
That's so powerful. Because like me, you are a person of faith as well. But why do you believe you have that resilience? What made you so resilient throughout your career, going from E1 to O5, all of the obstacles and challenges you had to face? How come you always bounce back, you think? Where does that come from?
So I'm born and raised in Kansas City, Missouri, home of the Kansas City Chiefs. And man, I grew up in very, very humble means. I mean, it would probably have to be a whole nother show to dive into some of the hardships and the journey. But one of the things is when I joined the Navy, I had joined from such a deficit of life experiences than my peers as it pertains to fatherless household, as it pertains to middle class living or exposure to resourcing and things like that. So by the time I joined boot camp, man, I probably gained 25 pounds in boot camp because I wasn't eating 3 times a day.
Wow.
Everybody else walked out of there slim and trim. I came out of there, my face was wide, eating every day, 3 times a day. And I was like, wow, you know what? If push-ups and sit-ups and marching is the hardest, so my path, man, it just, playing ball and things like that. You're having a single mother growing up in a rough household. You learn to be resilient. You learn to you have no choice.
Yes,
it's either be resilient or drown. And so I think that's why I was even able to pass swim tests, because I was like, this ain't gonna kill me. If I got a backflow, bounce pedal, bounce up, I will make it. And so that was just sort of the rules of the street, man. It's survive. It's be resilient. It's
That's
don't
really
just
powerful. I guess I think it was 50 cents who said, right, get rich or die. But I'm just talking about the mindset, meaning I am not going to give up. I am going to make it no matter what.
no matter what.
Wow. That is powerful. Now, if you can take us back to 1999, who was the young man who arrived at Great Lakes as a seaman recruit? What were his dreams, his fears, and expectation way back then?
Yeah, the young man that arrived in Great Lakes, man, was somebody who was determined to get himself out the hood and
Yes.
and see ocean
Mm,
and see opportunity. I used to work at the zoo. My only job as a teenager is I worked at the zoo. And prior to that, I mean, and during that season, I graduated high school pretty much a year early. I chose to
wow.
go back to high school for my senior year, just half the year, because I was afraid of being bored and unproductive. So I
Wow.
I, I elected to just do 2 days a week for the school year to just not enter into being unproductive,
Wow.
because a lot of problems happen. So now, fast forward 1999, I'm getting on an airplane for the first time in my life, you know. But while I was working at the zoo, they had this little bell ball with a globe on it. And I got that ball and I put it around my neck and I
Mm,
said, one day I'm going to see the world. I'm
wow.
going to break out of this box, this
Yes.
inner city box, this limited, never traveled, never seen anything box.
Mm.
And I'm going to go and voyage the world. So I arrived at boot camp. You know, I wanted to keep my fade, so I cut my hair pretty low. I wanted, I was still trying to be dapper, but
Did
man, I
did they
woke
shave you
up,
still?
huh?
Did they shave you still even though you had low
No,
hair?
man, I cut it low. I wanted to have a hairline when I went in there. I didn't want them skinning me out, man. So
I had to cry because
uh,
back then my hair was curly and nice and beautiful, but yeah, they got rid of all of it. But
yeah, I was like, I'm gonna beat them to it. If they gonna cut it, I'm gonna be the one. I'm gonna cut it so low and clean they won't touch it.
well, and then
So
you
for
had
the first
to
week, I had
to
a
break
clean
into
haircut.
your boots too, didn't you?
Yeah.
Man, that is crazy. At least that's one thing I love about the Navy because I know all of the sailors who came through boot camp, we pretty much had similar experiences. Right? It doesn't matter if you are rich, wealthy, black, white, a woman. It doesn't matter. We all go through the same thing. We all look alike. But so when you started, deck department, you struck IT. You served about 9 years enlisted and eventually commissioned through the DCU. Like I said, now you've been selected for commander. How did that kid who entered the Navy as an E1 become the leader sitting across from me today?
Man, it's nothing but the grace of God. Um,
Yes.
it's resiliency, like you said, the
Mhm.
ability to just keep at it. You know, I'm just I'm just I'm just I'm just you standing on top of my failures and not allowing my failures to stand on top of me. And
Wow.
that's really
Say
it.
that one more time. One more time, please.
You know,
Wow.
I am just you standing on top of your
Oh,
failures
my
and
friend.
not allowing the failures to stand on top of me.
Wow. That would
And
great.
every day I make that choice to
Mm.
get over one more failure. And if I'm doing nothing but standing on it, I had a reserve captain say at one time, I I can't remember his name at the moment,
Mhm.
but it was during a reserve period of the dichotomy of a sailor or, juggling life,
Mhm.
juggling the Navy, and then juggling a family
Yeah.
and the
Life,
demands of all of them. I
life work balance.
remember very clearly this captain says, you have to get good at rotating the suck. You
Mm.
know, and that means every every one of these areas of their life come with their own demands of you, and there are
Yes.
moments where you're going to suck as an employee. You may
Mhm.
not have been as attentive, something might have dropped, you couldn't deliver on whatever the timeline or deadline
Mm.
was, and but don't stay sucking as an employee every day, all day, every year for the rest of your life.
Yes.
rotate that thing. There might be sometimes you as a sailor, you might not have
Yes.
have gotten the hours in or
Mm,
got the training done or completed something. There might
yes.
be times where you're a little bit more absent as a father or mother
Hmm.
because of the demands of the Navy or your job
Yes.
or
Yes.
ministry or whatever. But
Hmm.
but but take the pressure off of yourself of trying to be perfect in everything for everybody all the time.
Wow. That's
Rotate
powerful.
the sub, give yourself some grace. Understand I might be struggling now, but not always on
Mm,
this thing. And
I love
then,
it. Rotate to
let
suck.
yeah.
I am
That
going to use this. First time I do, I'm going to give you credit, and then I'm going to do it as my own. That's powerful. Wow. So, what did you learn as an enlisted before you became officer? What is a leadership lesson or principles that you learned that you feel like you may not have learned through officer training?
Yeah, I think the biggest one, man, is Vice Admiral Bucky.
Hmm.
Back in when he was the Third Fleet
Yeah.
commander there. I remember him, and I was at E4 at the time, E5, E4 at the time. I remember him coming and talking to the deck plays. I was in IT too at the time. I remember him making what I thought was unrecognized work feel
Hmm.
seen. And
Wow.
I remember him with these three bright stars
Hmm.
beaming off of his shoulder, saying, "What you do is important."
Mm.
And that's what I felt at that moment was a sense of belonging that was not too minuscule or insignificant
Yes.
to be ranked to be recognized by one of the second highest rank in the Navy.
Wow.
And that to me said, I want to make sure everybody feels that. I
Yes.
want to make sure everybody feels whether you are cleaning the P-way or
Hmm.
whether you are, on an Aegis weapon system, that you understand you are valuable and
Wow.
what you do is important. That was it, man. And that was the thing before I ever became an officer, before I
Yes.
ever committed to the cause, is I committed to bringing value to human
Mm.
beings in the form of leadership.
That is so powerful. Yeah, because when I went to boot camp, I really felt like, flag officer, admiral, general, they were like some demigods or something.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
yeah, when you see a flag officer, an admiral who's so humble and who sees like a little bitty IT3 or seaman,
yeah,
Zinga, it's
yeah.
like, wow, you would take time to just acknowledge that I am here. That is
That I
really,
am here.
really powerful. Like you said, no, regardless of my rank, regardless of my title, I am you. And that's so powerful, especially in the age of artificial intelligence and social media where people don't really get connected anymore, being able to see someone. That's
Yeah, and
powerful.
I remember that there is a period even as enlisted, and I think even just in life in general, there's a period where sometimes you seek to avoid leadership. You seek to
Mhm.
avoid coming into contact or clash or even being seen by them. You sometimes think that they're disconnected. They're disconnected
Mhm.
to your struggles. They're disconnected to your tasks, your priorities. And
Mhm.
there's a point where even enlisted, you just don't even want to salute an officer. You don't even want to acknowledge them. And then you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
and and even more today, I think, these kids are brighter. Some of them are brighter than the officers, that they have to
Mhm.
work for and work with. And sometimes there can be a loss of respect. Sometimes there can be a undervalue of appreciation. But I think human contact, human value, that
Mhm.
transcend how much you know and who you and what title and degrees you got. Your
Yes.
ability to just see someone and recognize their potential
Mhm.
and their existence, that reorients the respect factor that comes
Yes.
along with the salute, not just because you are commissioned or promoted, but
Mhm.
because you lead in a way that helps
Mhm.
me see uh, that you care.
That's powerful. I mean, human dignity and respect. It's wow. you can really make a big difference in the life of so many people if only you care. Of course, in the Navy, we say mission first, people always. I think we borrowed that from the US Army, but it really makes a difference when a commanding officer truly cares about his or her sailors. I mean, you can tell the difference, right? Because I know I've had a couple of skippers who pretend to care about their sailor, but they absolutely do not care about you. But when you see somebody who really goes above and beyond and they really care about you, the person, not just you as a group, but you as an individual, it really makes all the difference in the world, doesn't it?
Yeah, and it does come with risk, and I don't say risk as in a mission risk, but sometimes it comes with risk because there are some people that don't want you to get to know them. They just want you to tell them what to do. They want to just know that you got the helm and that you're driving us home, and then they don't want all of the warm and fuzzies. They just want to know that you'll do what's right when it's time to do what's right. And sometimes trying to bridge that gap and trying to bring that level of awareness or inclusion can sometimes come with softness or the appearance of softness or the appearance of lacking attributes to take charge and things of that sort, or now the feeling of we're equals and I get to disregard or circumvent because you seemingly not carry the brass with a level of valor and judgment that they may think
Yes.
you should carry it with. And so those are always the two sides to the coin.
That you have to
Yeah,
balance. Yeah, because I want to say mission first. People always, as a leader, I'm sure you've been even as a division officer, department head, or
yeah,
senior leader in your command, where you have to balance right the mission of the organization of the unit and then also caring for the cell. Because sometimes you cannot satisfy both at the same time. Sometimes you have to work your people a little bit, rough or hard for a certain period of time because of the mission. Maybe find some other ways to make it up to them later. But how do you balance the mission and the caring of your sailors when they are in conflict?
yeah. I think when they're in conflict, that's a
Yes.
good question. Yeah, I think in two parts. One is and some of it is just generational differences.
Hmm.
I think one of my old signatures used to say, "There's no crying in fatigues." Like if you're going to be in a military uniform, there's no crying in the war when the warrior's uniform. And
Right.
that's sort of an old school kind of approach to it. But and today with social media and all of that, everyone has a microphone. I mean, very,
Yes.
very good microphone, right? But I'm challenged with hey, um, I don't want to weaken you.
Hmm.
I'm challenged with I don't want to reinforce weakness in you or
Yes.
weakness through you. And that's the hardship of you might think I'm killing you. You might think this is hard, but this is potential that has to be cultivated.
Yes.
And so you really have to build trust. You have to build
That's it.
trust that
That's it.
when I challenge you, it is not on the basis of your personhood. It's
Hmm.
not on the basis of arrogance. It's on the
Yes.
basis of mission accomplishment through the potential you
Mm.
demonstrate.
I think you really hit it on the head right there. It's really about trust, right? Because if your people trust you and they know that you really want the very best for them, even when it gets difficult, they will trust you and then they will follow. How do you build trust when, let's say, you are in a new unit, you have a new CEO, especially now that you are going to be elevated to commander, you're going to have a chance to become a commanding officer and have your own unit. How do you build trust quickly when you know that your unit or your command has to go on deployment? How do you do that when you don't have a lot of time to really get to know every single person in your unit, depending on how big or small it is, and get your people to trust you and you them? How would you do it?
I so one of my mentors was captain of the USS George Bush, and
Mhm.
I was talking with him on this very subject. He runs an aircraft carrier, but one of the things he reinforced and shared on this subject that I've adopted is while you're identifying everything that needs to change and everything that needs to go, stay curious.
I love it.
Stay curious and make sure that you show you're listening.
Mm.
As you show your ability to be curious and listen, you
Yes.
start building trust that you are there, that you are
Wow.
present. Do
Wow.
what you say you're going to do.
Mhm.
Absolutely do what you say you're going to do, and ruthlessly involve your team to feel a contribution to that. It cannot just be your show. And I think you build trust when you give responsibility and you delegate responsibility.
So simple yet so powerful. So we are already halfway through the podcast. I can't believe it. I could be talking to you for hours and hours. But what have you learned? So this past 27 years, Seaman Recruit to Commander, what is one of the greatest leadership lessons you have learned so far?
I think service. I mean, I always admired men and women that led through a form of service. Now, obviously, they lead from a different capacity. I'm not asking you to sweep or do what I'm
Mhm.
doing, but when if your hair is frazzled and you're working and you're in there and you're showing that you're invested in the outcome, I've
Mhm.
always admired that. And it isn't, you know, and it isn't to see you, you know, frazzled or anything, but it's to see that you have, like gas, that pardon my
Yes.
French, give a shit. They would call it
Mhm.
gas, that you actually care.
Yes. You
And
care.
so I've
Absolutely.
always admired leadership that's invested in the product, the outcome, the mission.
Mm. I
Um,
love that.
and so that's what I've learned is serve.
Mhm.
Be a servant leader. Invest yourself not only in the beginning of the production, but the end of it, and own it.
I
Um,
love that. So just because you and I, we are both in the information warfare domain, information technology, there's a lot of incident and sometimes things get quite hectic. Do you think it's important for a leader to look calm under pressure? Like I guess President Obama is one president who was very well known of always looking cool and lay back, even when the economy seems like was going down, you know, uh, to help. It was like, no, no, let's remain focused because sometimes I feel like if your leader looks frantic or afraid and just agitated, then everybody else is going to be agitated too.
Agree.
What do you think about that?
Yeah, I agree. I think ultimately, like I said before, going back into being invested, right? You don't need to look like frantic or anything, but you need to look like you give a crap, and you need to look
Yes,
like you understand what's at
you do
stake, and
care.
you understand how to connect the
Hmm.
dots. For me, I don't I think however your innate or trained responses are, they just need to be
Mhm.
like authentic. I think people can pick up if
Hmm.
there's a
I love
sense
that.
of inauthentic responses. You know what I mean? If you're too cool for school, then people are going to say you're either out of touch or you're playing
Yeah.
yourself here. Or if
Yes.
you're too frazzled, then they're like you're either out of control or you don't know
Yes.
how to manage the situation.
So
And
know your
so
environment.
yeah, yeah. I mean, it just has to be authentic, and I think people
Yes.
can pick up authentic leadership and authentic commitment,
Mm.
and that's what they
That's powerful.
gravitate to.
But now, I guess there's a leadership school that thinks, okay, you have to be authentic, but you also have to be vulnerable. Do you think there is a limit as a leader how much vulnerable you should be in front of your team? Especially like earlier you mentioned, right? Sometimes people may feel like, hey, you are no longer my boss, you are now my friend, and I can just talk to you any kind of way. So it seems like there needs to be some guardrail. What do you think?
Absolutely, and I think that's one. So I say absolutely in the sense that there should be some guardrails. There should be some need to know caveats to various levels of responsibility. I mean, the last thing you want to hear is the boss comes on the microphone and say, "Hey, I don't know what the hell I'm doing. You know, there goes the ship,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah,
But or hey, I just got off the phone with the admiral and he says I'm screwing up. You know that. Hey, easy there. You know. So I think there
yeah.
are some variants within who you confide in, what level of degree of transparency, you know. And I was talking to my daughter about that the other day, and she was like, "Hey, you know, Dad, I'm looking for you to just know that you can talk to me about anything." I said, "Baby, that's great. That's great, but just know I won't talk to you about anything.
Yes,
You know, I will crush you with,
yes.
you know." So just, you
So
know,
true.
yeah, just trying to weigh in the
I
issues of
love that.
life on a
Mm.
21-year-old or something, and you're just trying to get through college, and the last thing you know,
Yeah.
we're gonna have a tuition next month. Hey, listen, just go to school, you know.
Yes, indeed.
So yeah,
But
no, there's caveats to that, and I think you know, I think the
well
seriousness
said.
of
Well
your
said.
leadership should do that. Yeah,
Well said. I like you mentioned your daughter too, right? I have two daughters, so they're both Gen Z. Now, generally speaking, no, I am their father. They listen to me, I lead, and all of that. But sometimes you can be led by your children too, though. Because I know when I had a
absolutely.
great chance of being in command, about two-thirds of my unit were all Gen Zs. They are a completely different type of people. They're not like you and me. You know, the way we went to boot camp, the way we answer to authority and stuff. Those people are. It's like almost like another species. But anyway, I had to reach out to my girls. I'm like, okay, you got to teach me how can I get through to people your generation, and they told me exactly what to do. I did it, and it really, really worked. You know, as long
What
as
they
they felt
tell you?
seen. Yeah, yeah.
What
It's
did they say?
no, but I think it is just wonderful to see people to value them because
Oh,
part of the issues I was having, it's like many of them, just to be frank, they want time out and stuff. It's like they get offended so easily. I mean, when I was
easily.
growing up, it was a time where in the Navy people were smoking, drinking, cussing like every
Right.
two words. But I mean, the Navy has changed a lot. Let's just be frank
Yeah.
about that. It's a brand new Navy now, more business oriented. Definitely show a lot of respect and dignity. We don't. What's the word? Not just harassment, but you know how back in the days, even when you went for boot camp 20, 25 years ago, people would kind of like they do that in fraternity too. What's it called? See what I'm talking about? Like they would tease you and sometimes denigrate you in some way to kind of be part of the team. But anyway, we don't do that any longer. But I guess what I'm saying is, as a leader, you can still learn so much even from the most junior people on
Absolutely.
on your team. Okay, we have our first question from people watching in the audience. Daniel is from Florida. He says, "A fantastic show. Been listening from Maitland, Florida. How can service leadership remain relevancy as the world becomes more chaotic? Simply asking, how can leaders simply remain honorable?" That's a great question. How would you answer that?
Mm. How can leaders simply remain honorable? Again, I think authentic, being authentic. I think,
Mhm.
you know, not walking around with this pretentious air of perfection.
Yes.
I mean, and I think that's where a lot of, you know, people resonate with certain leadership and certain
Mhm.
administrations and certain things. It's just there's this rawness that's not trained, that's not super polished. It's
Mhm.
just let's do what's right or what we perceive to be right.
And
And
you
right, wrong,
cannot
or
fake it,
indifferent,
right?
there's just something fresh about it, you know.
And that
Yeah,
that cannot be faked, can it?
that cannot be fake.
Because I've seen some leaders who try to fake it, but they're just using like a checklist. They don't really care.
Yeah.
But
And I don't know if you try to put serving for sake of being honored in
mhm,
your agenda at all. I think you serve on the basis of the necessity.
yes,
Many times leaders don't even want to be in the position to have to
true.
do the thing. It's just the thing is requiring it
And
to
then
be done. Yeah.
you rise up to it. So what do you believe before we go to the next segment? Man, we only have about 50 minutes left. I can believe this. What do you think is the secret to your success? Why are you so successful? From E1 to commander, you have a master's degree in business administration, a bachelor, everything you've experienced up to this point. What has made you so successful, you think?
I think that's something that I'm still processing too. When you say what makes you successful, I still think I got more hill to climb.
Mhm.
I think I'm
But
like,
you have now arrived at a place where less than 4% of sellers have been able to.
I
Why?
mean, that's
Why
something
do you
you
think?
have to tell me. That's something that's not even on the, I don't hit the field with the numbers in mind, I'm just trying to break generational curses. I'm trying
Mhm.
to establish a legacy with my great grandchild in mind. I'm trying
Yes.
to really go as far as my potential can take me. And
Mm.
I fear leaving untapped potential, unrealized capable. I fear leaving that undeveloped.
Wow.
I fear leaving that unexplored. So that's my driver, and by working to just unwrap the gift within myself, that
Mhm.
might translate as success, but
Yes.
it's really just a devotion to exploring every unique attribute that I see about myself, and just
Mm.
what happens if I double tap with that? What happens if I stay a little
Yeah.
late and research that? And that may translate to what we call success, but that's
Yes.
really just a radical curiosity to learning
Mm.
myself, to
I
just
love that.
exploring who I am.
I love that. And hmm, that is really powerful. What you just said. Because I can see your drive. So what about discipline, right? Because many people, they know exactly what they should do, when they should do it, but for the majority of people, they don't do it. They get lazy or they get afraid or whatever the case may be. They don't feel like it. They don't do it. Why are you so disciplined? Why do you always do what you need to do when you need to do it, even when you don't feel like it?
Well, that's not true. I don't always do what I'm supposed to do when I'm supposed to do it, even when I don't feel like it. Sometimes I don't feel like it. Sometimes I have to come and correct myself. And I have to
Okay.
have an honest conversation with myself and said, you failed today on that. Why? And then after I explore it, I
Mm-hmm.
give myself grace. I accept the circumstances for the day. And then I go and be better.
Do
So
better.
I make the
So that's
commitment
that
to accept.
resilience again. So you
Yeah.
do not give up. So even when you fall, you get back up again.
I don't hide my failures from me. I use them to uh to actually address and correct. So I try
Wow.
not to walk around with a sense of naivety concerning my successes or my failures.
Hmm.
I am as humbled by my successes as I am by my failures. They
Wow.
humble me because I realize that they do produce. But I am hyper
Mhm.
disciplined, and people at our capacity many times are OCD when it comes to certain
Yeah.
disciplines. And I recognize that, and I think like I said again, the part of the driver behind that
Hmm.
is uh uh recognizing and not leaving potential undeveloped, like
So
having a
true.
talent that you never secured. And I realized that the discipline is the mechanism by which we
Yes.
see uh,
Mm.
our
So
things
powerful.
manifest. I'll tell you
So
one more thing, BZ.
please.
When I heard someone say this, and we're old school, we heard this other statement:
Hmm.
anything worth doing is worth doing right.
Yes.
And right, and so that's how we grew up. But I heard someone say this: anything worth doing is worth doing poorly.
Hmm.
And that means if it's worth doing, let's establish its worth. If it's
Yes.
worth doing, then it's even worth doing if you can't do it perfectly. The worth of
Mm.
it doesn't change. So maybe you can't walk 5 miles, but
Yes.
maybe you can start off by walking a block or two. If it's
Hmm.
worth it, it's even worth doing poorly. You
Yes.
get what I'm saying? So
That's
take
powerful.
those micro successes, because the worth of it never diminishes, even if you can't do it perfect.
Wow, that's so powerful. When you went to boot camp, were you already a runner back?
We're already a winner.
No, a runner. Did you run?
Runner? Heck no, man.
The
Now
first
I,
time
I
I
grew up
went
with
up,
asthma, man.
I thought I was having a heart attack like halfway through. I
Yeah,
couldn't feel that.
I entered the Navy. I had asthma, very severe asthma as a kid
Mm,
before, and by my teenage years, I had less and less attacks. But I
wow.
knew I had to get conditioned, and so here this 16-year-old boy is running in the hood on the busy street.
Yeah.
People wondering if I'm running from the cops. They want to know what then went down. Did he's going that
Yeah.
way? And it's
If you
like, no,
see a,
I'm
if you
jogging.
see
He's
a black
going that
man
way.
run, you better run in their direction. Don't
Yeah,
ask
I know he stole something, you know. So
Yeah.
I ran
Uh,
maybe twice before boot camp just to try to get in shape. Uh,
okay. So
it,
I
it's
am not the only one because it took me a while, but eventually I became a runner. So I was running all the time. And
that's right.
then after maybe 7, 8, 9 years, I started having issues with my ankle and my knees because I was running too much. So now I mostly do the the bike. But then again, it talks about resilience, right? So you are here, you don't know how to swim, you don't know how to run, you don't know how to do push-ups or any of that. But in order for you to graduate boot camp, you absolutely have to pass the physical test. If you don't pass it, you are completely disqualified. So you have to do whatever you need to do to put your mind in the game and go beyond your fear, beyond everything that you are feeling, and hit the goal. It's I mean, and I think when you kind of apply this, no matter what you do, whether it's learning how to do computer security or cloud or AI, it doesn't matter what it is. You have the same mindset. I can learn this. I can do this because I
Yeah.
was in this place before. Maybe not the specific mountain, but something similar, right?
I think for people that portray themselves as confident, and I don't say portray to minimize, I mean that we
Mhm.
just see
Yes.
as as stellar and excellent and
Mhm.
accomplished and successful. I've learned what back to the discipline thing. I've
Mhm.
learned over my years that I've become accustomed to being successful by the little things. I
Mm.
am so I don't be as so I try to build a lot of sets and reps on success by
Yes.
little things. Today I'm just going to eat this. Today
Mhm.
I'm going to wear that. I'm going to get up at this time. I'm going to read
Mhm.
that. I'm going to finish and get this. And those are small things that
Yes.
when they're done, those are accomplishments.
Mhm.
And don't despise small beginnings. Those
Yes.
things help forge your aptitude for taking on a larger thing.
They
And
add
so
up.
realize, every time I build a to-do list, it's boxes next to the thing to do.
Yes.
And
Yes.
I've become accustomed to looking at papers filled with check boxes.
Yes. Mm.
So you just start establishing
That's powerful.
a routine of being successful at the little things. And then,
Mm.
like I said, you look up and people are calling you successful, but it's really just discipline and you
Mm.
committing yourself to little things.
That's really powerful. Yeah, because I remember no, I couldn't even do one push up. No. And then
Yeah.
at first we only had 2 minutes to do so many push ups. So I start with one. I do one push up. Okay, that's fine. I can't do anymore. Let me walk for 5 minutes. I come back. Okay, let's do two push up. No, if I can't run, but I can walk. Let me walk for maybe a quarter of a mile, and then I run for a quarter of a mile, and then I'm so tired. Then I start walking again, and before you know it, you are able to endure, and you really build
Yeah.
that up. That is quite something. Now, let's talk about what you are learning. All leaders are learner. What have you been learning lately?
Yeah. So,
What are
like you
you
said,
reading?
yeah. Okay. So there's two parts. One, I'm reading this book called the E Myth. Um,
Oh yeah,
and yeah.
it was pretty
And
big in the 90s.
yeah, and they so the E Myth revised. So there's
Mhm.
a revision of that I've been
Yes.
reading, and it's really focusing on as I prepare for this next chapter of life. It's really focusing on establishing a business framework that is
Hmm.
surrounded by building systems, and
I love that.
understanding that as a business owner, the business is your engine and it is your job. All of the other things you got to learn to delegate and provide responsibilities off to, but
Yeah.
really building a system. And one thing behind system I've learned many years ago as an acronym, the word system as an acronym, is a system will save yourself significant time, energy, and money. And today, if we incorporate a system into however we operate, I think
Yes.
the fruits of that would save yourself significant time, energy, money, because you're not doing so much exploring, learning, and learning, failure learning, but you're establishing a framework that you just tweak along the way. My daughter dropped this book on me by John C. Maxwell on the unicorn. So I got that on the deck next to read about the unicorn perspective, which is these high performing different
Yes.
perspective leaders
Wow.
and people. And so my
That is
daughter
powerful.
called me the unicorn. I thought she was throwing a jab at me, but then she shared
Yes.
the book with me.
Yeah, The E-Myth Revisited by Michael Gerber. Powerful book. Because I remember back in the 90s, I was reading that, and also guerrilla marketing was pretty big.
Yeah, guerrilla
back
marketing is
back
different.
then.
Yeah.
I don't know if they have an updated version of that, how to market when you don't have a budget. But wow, powerful. And another question I have for you then is, we already talked about failure, so I'm not going to go back to that. But who are some of the people you know that we should know? Who are some of the people who have mentored you, coached you, and helped you have the vision for leadership you have today, who have significantly impacted your life?
Yeah, I often say one of and I don't by any means advocate for my upbringing to be others, but one of the things I often talk about is the uniqueness that I had by not having an in-present in the home father, was that I was able to, growing up, I was able to sort of admire from afar a varying collection of different men. I was able to grow up in the church, but not completely immersed to where I didn't see, the world or anything like that. But so I grew up and I had admiration for my grandfather, who was a preacher, and his ability to encourage and bring people to experience the faith, and you'll see them crying and being relieved and having a experience with their creator. And then I also saw men that fixed cars. They were good with their hands. They got their hands dirty. They were able to bring about service to the community, and that vehicle is the lifeblood of their income, and then they need this, and they're able to fix it. And I saw men that were dapper, and they dressed very nice, and they were able to carry themselves with a sense of honor and care and concern about how they present and who they present. And so I was able to sort of incorporate and absorb and filter every feature and aspect of a man to be one from a leadership standpoint, to a servant, to a mechanic, to
provider,
being hands, to being a scholar, to reading, to being educated, informed, fighting for rights, and all of these things. And so I was fortunate to incorporate all of that into one being,
That's really powerful.
I get to elect every day which person, and
you want to be.
Yeah.
It's powerful. Now, what about the inverse of that? Where there, you don't have to give names of this one, but where there are people who you looked at, you like, that's not the kind of man I want to be. Absolutely not.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like I said, I won't say any names, but yeah, I mean, there used to be a commercial back in the day where these dummies will be in the car, they crash, and then the screen will go black, and they'll say something like, "You can learn a lot from a dummy," and that was just left on the screen. I always took that to heart, to saying that there's always an opportunity to learn, even if you aren't the subject matter. There is still opportunity to learn, even from them that are not necessarily responsible, wise, or anything. So I've never left lessons on the table. I've always sought to learn. And so there were some in my neighborhood, in my circle, in my friendships, that they've made choices that I've said, well, let's see how that's going to work.
Wow, that's powerful. No, I would love that because for this podcast since last season, we have two books for our curriculum. One is the 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership by
That's a good
Dr.
book.
John C. Maxwell, you mentioned, but also the Leadership Bible. Even for those who are not Christian, it is fun because we use it as a leadership manual, right? It's really amazing how in the Bible you have people, even good people, who sometimes do very bad things. So you can learn both the good, the bad, what to do, and what never uh, to do. And that's really powerful. Okay, so if you could choose three people to have dinner with, they could be alive, dead, or even fictitious character. Who would you choose and why? Three people to have dinner with.
Ah, well, I know I would definitely love to have a dinner with Dr. Martin Luther King. He's
MLK. You don't have to
very
say anymore. Okay, two more.
okay. Yeah, exactly. Enough said with just yeah.
Yes, indeed.
Uh, Abraham Lincoln, actually. You know,
Because for anybody who grew up in a black church, you would see that MLK's picture is pretty much on every church fan
that's
everywhere across America. So you don't have to say anymore. Abraham Lincoln is a good one. Gettysburg, the Civil War. And who will be your third person?
you know, if we're just speaking from an academic or a civil standpoint, I would also absolutely love to have dinner with George Washington.
Uh,
But
First president.
as an overall standpoint, it would be with Jesus Christ overall,
Yes.
and I look
Wow.
forward to that day.
Powerful. Okay. Is there maybe like a song or a book or a movie that you think might be your life's theme or anthem?
A song or a book.
Or
Uh, well, it depends on the mood. So there's this you know there's this song by, well, actually I was singing this song earlier today, and I don't want to
Mhm,
get too emotional, but there's this song by Kurt Carr, and his
mhm.
singers in it's I almost let go, I almost was at the edge of giving up, devil thought he had me, but Jesus came and grabbed me, and he held me close so I wouldn't let go. Those words are very pivotal, especially during tough times. Then on
What is
the looser
what is
gooser
sorry?
side,
What is the name of the song with Kurt Carr?
I believe it's I almost let go.
I
I
almost let
almost
go. Okay,
let
okay,
go. I
because
believe so.
I love this music. There is one of his song I keep listening to over and over again. Really, really, really encouraging. He has a lot of great music. Just to be true. Okay, I almost let
Yeah,
go. I will make sure to
I
this
believe
this.
that's the one.
Okay.
And at least that's the one you sing. That's the part you sing the loudest as you sing
Yeah.
the song.
Yeah.
Um,
Fantastic.
you know, but yeah, I would have to give that some thought. But I
I
have
know
several,
this is
there's
great.
several secular songs and all those things that
Yeah,
really come to mind. But
because
on
we
the Lucy side, there's a mystical song.
yeah.
Uh, I don't know if you remember the rapper Mystical, but
Mhm.
there's a song, "The Man Right Here." I
Mm.
love that song because I say that's my theme music. The
Wow.
sheriff is in town. It's time to take charge.
That's good to know because we do have a Apple Music playlist for this podcast too. I think we have over, I don't know, almost 100 songs that people recommend for the podcast. So I'm gonna make sure to add those two. All right. We are almost toward the end. I'm really grateful for your time today. Is there okay? If you had one and only one day to live, what would you have liked your final contribution to be? One day.
My final contribution, I think, to the world, I think my final contribution would probably just be, you know, service. I think it would just be giving and sharing to others. What
Yeah.
capacity that looks like, I'm often serving others in the form of coaching and mentorship and encouragement. And
Mm,
I can see myself on my deathbed encouraging those around me. Uh,
yes.
I would find myself encouraging them around.
Wow. So, what would you like for your sailors, your children, and your future grandchildren to say about you, let's say 25, 30 years from today?
Yeah, I think they would just. I would hope that they say is that, you know he worked his butt off so I can have a sense of purpose.
Wow.
I want everyone coming from me, a descendant from me, to feel they have a place in this world. And there's provision through their family. There's provision through my principles that give them a safe place in this world. Because I think as we get further and further along, and I'm sorry if I'm rambling on, but I think as we get further away from generation to generation, we become a little more entitled. And I think there was a time where, you had to work with your hands very hard, very long, very much. And then there's a time where you just have to move the mouse from the corner. And now we're complaining because I can't get the mouse over to the top of the screen fast enough. And so the more you get into comforts and the more you get into to these niceties, the more entitled and underappreciated you become to the road that was set for you.
Wow.
And so I just hope those coming after me realize that they sit upon, the seat of someone's care for their
wow. That's powerful. So if you had a crystal ball or a magic wand or something, you could solve any problem in the world. What is the one problem you would like to solve first thing tomorrow morning?
Oh, as like in world hunger type of solve the whole world problem?
Any problem at all. Which problem would you like to solve tomorrow? Just one. If you could solve anything.
I would solve hate. I would solve dissension and hate. I will remove capability from our genes.
That's really powerful because we are quite a divided country right now. I remember 9/11, it was very, very sad, but the day after 9/11, I was so proud to be in America. I mean, it was one country under God, really, truly. No matter if you were black, white, male, female, we were really all united under our flag. And I really hope we get back there.
Bob, man, it's very powerful, right? One single man has the genetic potential to populate the whole world. Wow. But man, fueled by bitterness, has the potential to take it to extinction everything we've built. One nuclear bomb across the globe.
Crazy.
Man has the potential to populate the earth or to completely destroy it.
Wow.
And,
that would preach. So for all of the junior enlisted and junior officers who are listening to you now, about to become a senior officer in the most powerful Navy in the world, what would you tell them? What is your word of encouragement for a junior enlisted and junior officer who's dreaming of one day maybe becoming a commander and having their own command?
It's very cliche, and I just had this conversation with Lieutenant Junior Grade Green. I won't say his first name, but I just had this conversation 2 days ago upon his ship. And he's contemplating getting out, and he's observed some of the challenges with bureaucracy and ordering and logistics and leadership. And I told him, and we're in a prime time in the Navy right now where technology and commercial off the shelf capabilities, private sector, the emergence that we're having right now is unlike anything I've ever seen in the last 20 years of service. These last 5 years have been amazing when it comes
you add AI to the mix too.
Then you add AI, and that's a whole nother segment. Anthropic, Fable 5, Mythos, what the landscape's going to look like. We're basically building a artificial intelligent nuclear bomb that in the cyberspace, right? And it has the potential to do all these amazing things, but it can be weaponized in such a very scary way. But I told Lieutenant Green, man, I told him as he contemplates getting out and going back to, Illinois, I said, you are in a prime position to see the problem and be a part of the solution than bailing out on the problem. And I didn't use the word bail out, and I didn't want to kind of diminish his perspective concerning getting out, but somebody else will have to start from scratch again to come to the same problem, to face that. The 4 years the 3.5, 4 years you've put in there, Lieutenant Junior Gray Green, you have a keen insight on your influence and the problem that you were created to address. That's why it bugs you. It is within you and within your capacity to do that. So I told him, I encouraged him, get with a mentor, get with leadership, white paper it, but don't give up on believing in the solution, because we're in a time right now where the smallest voices are being heard and the most, and so there's never been a greater time to influence the change, to be the change. And that's really what it came down to. Be the change.
That is so true, because another one of my mentee, African American woman, she's a lieutenant commander now, but she's been in almost 16, 17 years and thinking about quitting. I'm like, are you crazy? You only have 3 years to go. And then you can retire on your own term. It's like, just suck it up. I mean, things will, I mean, administration come, they go. We have a commander chief now. We have another one in 4 years. Things are going to change. It's not going to stay the same, but you have to focus on the mission. That's powerful. Okay, we do have to end the show. Before we do, what can we do to add value back to you? Actually, before I say that, let me play a 1-minute video really quick, and I will be right back.
Where compassion meets everyday support. Serenity Home Care delivers reliable, respectful care tailored to individuals with developmental disabilities and home support needs. From friendly companionship to keeping your home neat as a pin, we handle the little things that matter most. Our personal care services are provided with professionalism and respect, always putting dignity front and center. We believe every day is a chance to brighten lives and help clients feel right at home. Take the first step toward better care and reach out to Serenity Home Care today.
All right, Serenity Home Care today. That's your background. Tell us about it and how can we support you?
Yeah. So real quick, Serenity Home Care is birthed out of the recent death of my grandmother. I lost my grandmother a couple years back, and on her last stages of life, she was in need of home care, and I lived in a different state, and just trying to be the hero and the son to the family. Sought to try to bring the family together. And I knew that people lived busy lives and was not able to suspend their life to be there 24/7 for the ones that they love. And so the funeral home that took great care of my grandmother and let her last days be very honorable was Serenity. And so the peace that we felt and the care that they gave and the life that she lived really inspired me to make sure that there's no families struggling between trying to care for their loved ones and also go to work every day and trying to. And so Serenity Home Care is our way, our contribution back to our growing community, our growing baby boomers as they enter into this space. They want to enter into that space with pride, with independence, the ability to still care for themselves and not necessarily be completely reliant and interfering on their children and grandchildren's lives.
Dignity, yes.
With dignity. And so we aim 100% to be just that for those that can age with dignity, with self-respect, and in the privacy of their own homes.
And that's veteran owned as well, right?
I'm sorry.
It is veterans owned.
Yes, it's and so right now it's in home care. So at your place of residence, if you don't want to leave your home, you shouldn't have to, especially if you have the means to stay there. We're in tiers. At one point, we will have our own resident care, but right now we're working to provide in-home care with the dignity and privacy that.
Good. And where can my audience go to find out more about Serenity Home Care?
Yeah, absolutely. We're on all the major platforms out there. Our website is probably the best place to land to just learn about our mission, what we value, and where we're going. Just visit www.serenityhomecare.va, as in Serenity Home Care Virginia, .com, and learn and a little bit of what we're doing, what we're driven by. It is very important as we age that we age with dignity and that we're cared with compassion. Absolutely.
Well, thank you so much, sir, for your time today. We do need to end the show. I think I'm going to end with this one. This is a picture of you in Djibouti giving away candy to African kids. So back to the motherland. It's really amazing in the Navy how you have the potential, right? The ability to go all around the world and really make a difference. Now, if you could go back and give a piece of advice to your 17-year-old self, you're about 17, 18, when you joined the Navy as a Seaman Recruit, standing at the edge of this incredible career you've had in this powerful Navy, what would you say to 17-year-old Anthony?
You can do it. You can do it.
You can do it.
Yeah,
Wow.
you can do it.
All right, so this is the end of the show. I know you have to go, and actually, before I ask the last question, anything else I should have asked you I didn't get a chance to ask? Anything else you wanted to share before we let you go?
BZ, this has been great. I really just appreciate you taking some time to extend your platform and allow my story to be shared with your audience. I thank you again for what you're doing. I thank you for your leadership. It's been great knowing you over all these years. And I'm really just wishing you all the best. I know we could have went so many ways, and I wish there's so many things to talk about. But just sincerely, thank you. I appreciate you, and I love you, brother.
Thank you so much. Well, we are going to end it there. Have a wonderful rest of your day and great weekend. And I really appreciate what you're doing. You make me so very, very proud. So I know the Navy is in a better position that we have another commander, Anthony Murphy. Thank you, sir.
Amen. Bless you, brother. And hey, you can put that black card in your back pocket and go on in that water.
Yes, sir. What a show, what a show. I am really, really, really proud of Anthony. He's come a very, very long way. Now, this is, again, one of those stories that shows me that in America, anything is possible. Doesn't matter if you are black, doesn't matter if you have an accent, if you are a woman, doesn't matter where you come from. If you've got something to give, there is room for you at the very, very top. And Anthony Labs definitely proves it. All right, so this is it. This is the end of the show. We're going to have one more show today at 4 p.m. So in 2 hours, I'm going to be talking to another one of my shipmates. That's Lieutenant Commander Trina Martin. Retired from the U.S. Navy. We're going to be talking about beyond the title, from personal transformation to leadership that changes lives. She's also a best-selling author of 2 books, one From Mess to Amazing and also Beyond the Title. So I look forward to that. That's going to be our last show today. And I just got confirmation tomorrow I'm going to be speaking to Dr. Brian Rubin. He has a PhD. He's coming to us from London. We're going to be talking about strategy, power, and the courage to see first. He's written many, many books, but I want to focus on his latest book, Strategy, but also his upcoming book is going to be published next week, Power Play. I think that was the book he was born to read. You don't want to miss that. That's going to be tomorrow morning, I think 6 a.m. California time, 9 a.m. on the East Coast. Okay, that's all I have for today. And we do have a brand new friend in the spotlight. That's my mentor, Captain John Cordell. He is our friend in the spotlight for this entire week. So you can read the article about all of the great things he has done. Okay, that's it for now. See you again in a couple of hours if you can join us. And thanks again for watching. Bye for now.
Thank you for tuning in to the Leadership and Success Podcast with your host, Coach BZ. If today's episode added value to your leadership journey, be sure to subscribe, share, and join us again for more wisdom nuggets on how to lead better and achieve greater success. Remember, leadership is the most critical skill of our time. The world will always need leaders to inspire others, drive innovation, and execute meaningful strategy. So why not count yourself among the bold leaders shaping the 21st century? Until next time, stay inspired, stay committed, and keep leading with excellence.